So, hello everyone. This is Kelli McVay, Senior Director of Sales. And if you are catching this replay, we're excited to have you on to listen. The people that are talking today really have some incredible out-of-box thinking in their business. And out-of-the-box thinking, I think, is something that I've been talking a lot about this week. I've been saying, be a little bit of a shapeshifter, surprise your network, surprise everyone on social and what you're doing. And I think these people do that often. And it's why their networks keep coming back to them. So I'm going to start off by a really quick little story and a totally different brand, a different company. There's not one part of me asking any of you to do this specific story. I'm sure I've told the story to a couple of you before, but a past company I was with, first month I had joined, and someone sold, I think it was like $60,000 in, it wasn't $60,000. I'm exaggerating. It was probably like $20,000 in like a month. And I was like, who is this person? I had just joined the company. And I looked her up, and her name was Gay, and she was 71 years old. And I was like, what the heck is this woman doing? She's amazing. And I reached out to her. Now, a different price point, a completely different brand. By no means am I asking anyone to go and do this, but she had gone to the local women's prison, and they set up a fundraiser. So all the women in the prison got to choose a charity that they were giving their money to. And they had like three things that they could vote on, and they could spend their money on three products. She picked three products. I think she literally made poster boards, and they put them in the lobby area of the women's prison, and they voted on the charity. And then she gave all of her profits to the charity. She gave her percentage to the charity, and they were only allowed to buy these three products. She also didn't bag them or anything because it was a women's prison. So she literally just delivered all of this to the prison, and then they had to individually bag everything up. And these women were obviously super excited because all women love to shop, even women that are apparently in prison. But this is something that she started doing at Christmas time. Like, she does it 3 times a year now. And it was just mind blowing to me in a sense that she earned every incentive. She ranked up always because she would align certain things, and then she would have this huge boost of income. She obviously wasn't communicating with them or worried about a newsletter or social media. But in my mind, am I asking anyone to do this? Absolutely not. But I think in a sense that it was mind blowing to me because it was so out of the box. It was so something that other people would never have thought to do. So kind of not duplicatable in a lot of ways, but it's so out of the box. And I think when you start to get creative in your business and you do little things here and there, the network that you can open, the communication that you can get, even from a community person, everybody in the community knew that she was doing this for the prison, right? So even the customers that she got, because she was giving this much money to a charity, because it was technically her in the women's prison giving the money to the charity. So I love out of the box thinking. I think that it's something that can really benefit your business. I think we get super stagnant. We know our strengths and we play to them, and we kind of lean into those all the time because that's what works and that's what wins, and that's what gets on the recognition board. But sometimes when you jazz it up and you throw something crazy in, amazing things will happen. So I am going to turn it over to Miss Christian first. And Christian, I know, just did something really, really amazing with realtors.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully you can see my little PowerPoint now because I like to be prepared to keep myself on track. But my name is Christian Luciano. I live in Southwest Florida. I've been with Hugh and Grace for almost 3 years. And I think that out of the box thinking, sometimes it comes when you're in the valleys, right? And so this year I had to cancel my trip to Hawaii at the very last second. And it was honestly like devastating that I felt like I had to do that. And I definitely spent a lot of time like wallowing in my own self-pity that I was not in Hawaii with all of you. But I was also like, listen, if I'm going to be home, I am going to do something to make this time worth it. And that's kind of where this idea branched out of. And so I took a look at our home care and our new reusable paper towels, and I was like, what can I do with this to make people want to have it. Because let's be honest, sometimes cleaning supplies, talking about cleaning supplies, not super exciting, but what can I do to make it super exciting? And so I came up with this plan. And what I did was that I put a very vague Facebook post out there. I put it on my main page and I put it on a couple of my local community Facebook pages. And I just did a blanket color block post. And I said, hey, local realtors, my company is launching something new. I would love to gift it to you because I think it would make the perfect welcome home gift. Comment below if you're interested. And immediately, like in that day, which I think is pretty immediate, I got 4 or 5 responses on my main page. And by the end of the week, I had 10 meetings between all of my different posts set up. Nobody asked what it was. Nobody was like, hey, what are you doing? What kind of gift is this? Realtors love things that are free. This is what I have learned. Like if you say they can have something for free, they're like, sign me up, right? And so I did a couple direct reach outs, but for the most part, I got people's interest based on this blanket Facebook post that I put out there. I scheduled their meetings and I went to their homes because I wanted to make it as convenient for them as possible. Because I had put it in like the neighborhood that I live in, the surrounding neighborhoods, I felt pretty comfortable with that. But, you know, obviously use judgment to keep yourself safe. And a lot of realtors work out of their homes. And so one of the things that I made sure that I did is I dressed professionally for every single meeting. And so I wasn't showing up in, you know, leggings and my t-shirt, which is what I normally want to wear every single day. And some of them, when I got to their houses, they were in leggings and t-shirts and they were like, you look so nice. But this is something where I wanted them to see me as a professional and as a serious representative of this company, not for them to be like, oh, this is just another one of those things, you know? So this was I think that helped. Some of them even commented like, oh, you know, you look so great. I love it, you know, whatever. So make sure that I would highly suggest that you do that and just make it as easy as possible for them. So I took samples and I put them on a tray and I presented them like this would be the gift that they would give their clients. I'll show you a picture of what I did in a second. My plan was that I was going to gift them the reusable paper towels. So when I said I was giving them a free gift, I meant it. The reusable paper towels wasn't a huge thing for me personally to gift these people. And so I was like, if you are taking the time to meet with me, I am going to gift you this item right here. My hope was that they would want to purchase the entire set when they saw it. But I was going in with, for you taking the time, I'm going to gift you this. I brought them on the tray. I did not have them in their boxes. I had all of the bottles out and completely set up, and I'll show you a picture of that in a second. And then I actually made a little pamphlet, and I'll show you what this looks like too. But it has a little bit about the paper towels, a little bit about the home care, and then ways we can partner. It has Ben and Sarah's story on here and my contact information. And I put this, my business cards, a handwritten note, and the boxes of all the products in a separate bag so that they could have it to look through kind of on their own time once I had left, and that they had all of the information that they needed. And then if they were buying the set, they also had the boxes and all of the things, but I just wanted to have it all together so I could show them. So when I arrived to their home, this is what it looked like. This is a little 12-inch tray I just got on Amazon. It wasn't super expensive. And I walked them through the process of how you can jazz this up. So it was really funny because I thought when I arrived and I had this tray in my hand, 10 out of 10 times, the people were like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And I was like, I know, I couldn't tell you that it was cleaning products because I didn't want you to be like, oh, cleaning products, like I don't want to give that, you know, but when you see it and see how aesthetically pleasing it is, it's something you can leave out on your counter. It really is the perfect thing to leave for people. And so we walked through how you could even like jazzy it up. You could put a bottle of wine, you could put some nice kitchen towels, you could add a candle, and you could easily be all in on this welcome home gift for under $100. Before I decided to do this, I spent a lot of time on my like social media, my Instagram stories, and talking to my team about what this kind of looks like. Like, would you be appreciative if you got something like this? Would you like it? Like, what do you think? And people were like, this is a thoughtful gift. This isn't just something where like, oh, everybody gets a bottle of wine or everybody gets whatever. This is like something that is truly thoughtful because you're wanting your clients to make their home a safer place, right? And so many of the comments that I received from my polls were like, oh my gosh, when I moved into my new house, I was pregnant or I had little kids at home. I didn't want to be breathing in all of those toxic chemicals because you're trying to clean it all up. You're trying to make it as nice as possible. And this would have been something that I really appreciated. And actually, one of my realtors said, I love this because we're helping our clients turn their new houses into safer homes. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. Like, that is our goal here. We're trying to turn everybody's houses into safer homes. And I'm so glad like you see this bigger picture. And so my meetings, sometimes they were 15 minutes, but I had one meeting that lasted an hour. When I went out of my 10 meetings, 4 people bought these sets on the spot, which was great because I had only bought 4 sets. So I probably should have bought 10 and maybe all 10 would have bought it. And then I had 2 reorder sets for their first closings coming up. And then I had one who turned out to be a naturopath doctor, and she, that meeting lasted an hour, and she texted me later on in the day, and she was like, oh my gosh, these products are so good. This is the best non-toxic cleaning line I have ever seen. Not only am I going to put it in all of my welcome home gifts, but I'm going to recommend it to all my naturopath clients because everyone needs to have these in their house. And I just thought for someone with that extensive background in what we're trying to do here with like non-toxic things, for her to give us a compliment like that, it was like life-changing. It was so amazing. So this is what the pamphlet looked like on the front. I just made it in Canva. I had it printed at FedEx, and you got like 25 for $27. So it really wasn't super expensive. I'm happy to share the template if anyone wants to see it. And this is what it was on the inside. Now, I gave examples of like why these things are so great. And then I talked about how we can partner. I talked to a couple people and got some different opinions on if I should mention the advocate opportunity on the pamphlet and all of the things. And I found that talking about the advocate opportunity in person really had a much bigger impact because I could be like, listen, we have multiple discounts available anywhere from 10% to 25%. These are the free options that you have to earn some discounts. But if you want to pay a small fee, I can get you the largest discount available and you can use this to your advantage. And so they all really loved that and appreciated that. And we're in talks now to get them to join the team and do some more things, the more closings that they have. So with all of that to say, I think my biggest piece of advice when you're doing something that's out of the box is I am not someone who loves doing events. I like get sick to my stomach. Get in my head. I'm always like, people are going to hate me or they're going to be mean or they're going to think this is stupid. And it's so easy to spiral. And I think, the good times are built out of the bad times. When you're in like the valleys of you don't want to do this or you don't want to show up, like this is when you need to show up. And this is when you need to be the most confident. Like every single meeting, I did my Justin Prince power stance like before I went in. And I just thought to myself, like as silly as it may sound, like, what would Sarah Jensen do? Like, Sarah Jensen would be so proud. And we are so proud. And we do think that everybody should have these products in their homes. And we want to be the people that they come to when they're trying to make healthier, simpler swaps for their families. And she would not be shy. She would not be embarrassed. She would not think people would like be mean or like think she's stupid. She'd be like, yeah, everyone needs to have this. And so just go in with confidence. Don't be afraid. And just, rock it. Do your Justin Prince power stance and hone in on your Sarah Jensen energy. So that's what I got.
Christian, this was amazing. And I have to say, as a corporate employee, it's like Christian's growing up right before my eyes. I feel like Christian was someone that had never done anything like this. And I mean, now you're running trainings and doing amazing out of the box thinking things. I love it. This was amazing. And so many people are going to be all over this, Christian, and asking you a million questions. So I'm so excited about this. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda. And you guys know, I mean, super seller all the way, shows up on all of our recognition always. She knows what she's doing. And I think when Amanda started really working, there were all kinds of things that I saw her doing that I'm like, this is networking, this is building. And I think she does it in all ways. She's incredible on social. She's a social seller. But she also sprinkles in some in-person things in a really great way too. So Amanda, I'm excited for you to share.
Well, thank you. And Christian, that was really amazing. I was also thinking, as you were talking about your post, I think it's really important to have your profile picture to actually be you. Because I know for me, if I saw someone inviting me to something and the profile picture was a flower or even like a Bitmoji, that would give me pause. So just, something for all of us to think about as we're trying to connect on social. I think it's super important to have your own face that be your profile. I'm sorry, my dog is right here. She's going to be fine. But anyway, okay. So here are some of the out of box things that I have done and I have continued to do. Mine are much more bullet point ideas than the overarching, strategy that Christian shared. So I also don't have a PowerPoint. Sorry. Okay. The one thing, one of the ideas is to host your own Facebook group. Now, if you feel like, oh my gosh, that sounds like it's a little intimidating, you know what you can do is you can get some of other advocate friends of yours to host a group with you. Now, here's what I want you to remember. I would not name it Hugh and Grace, anything about Hugh and Grace, because people are going to feel like this is a sales group I don't want to be sold to. You want to think about what value can I offer to your life? So 3 advocates, 2 other advocates and myself, we host a wellness group. That's what we call it. And it is growing and really has become such a fun group for the 3 of us to run. We come up with different fun, creative challenges. We hosted a virtual 5K with our group and we did it. Yes, Kelli participated and we did that in November. So it was kind of like tied in with a turkey trot idea. We emailed trainings out to everyone who joined the virtual 5K, and it did not really promote Hugh and Grace, but it got people talking to us and about what we were all about. We talked about taking your hydrate and detox so you can feel amazing while you're training. That's one of the things we did. Another super successful one that a challenge that we had was a 10K a day walking challenge. Oh my gosh, so many of the women in our group were really in for this because maybe the 5K was intimidating, and we did this one when everybody was trying to get back into feeling better. And yes, it was kind of winter, so we were sharing creative ideas on how to get in 10K steps. Another one we did, and this one was much more sales focused, was Christmas in July. We, ramped this up about a week before July 25th. And then on July 25th, we shared all of the Hugh and Grace products that we love and maybe some specials that we were offering. So when you're doing something like this, you want to think about, how am I going to promote this? I don't recommend just in putting everyone in the group because people feel like that's aggressive. At least I do. Like, I don't want to be put into a group that I didn't ask to be put in. So I want you to advertise this, like on your stories. Oh my gosh, my friends and I were hosting this really fun wellness group. It's just getting started. We'd love for you to join and check it out. It's totally free. And you can put the link, or you can ask them, if I can add you, like this story, and I'll add you into the group. So think of this as like kind of a lead into your group, like a lead magnet that you share as you wish on your stories. Now, let's talk about other Facebook groups, and I'm going to tell you what I see people do that I think is not effective. So someone is on, like, I'll give you 3 examples of different groups I'm in. I'm in a local moms group that has about 5,000 women. I'm in a fitness group that this one woman runs, and she's very into everyone sharing, which I love about her. And then I'm also in a women and fashion over 40 group. Okay. These are not groups I run. These are groups I just participate in. So on the moms group, someone is going to say, oh my gosh, like, I really feel like I'm hearing so much about collagen. Like, do you take a collagen? Can you tell me about it? Here's where I see people go wrong. I rep this company, and this is the only collagen you should ever use. Here's my link. Okay. Again, I don't think people want to be sold to. I think you have to position yourself as an expert. So when you see a post like that, here's what I want you to say. I want you to say, I know how important collagen is. When you're looking, make sure you find one that has type 2 in it, because that's really important for your joint health. I share a lot about this on my Instagram. Here's one of the posts I did about this, and you link your post. Okay. That doesn't say that you are selling it. It doesn't turn anyone off. You're providing education and value to someone, and you are setting yourself up as, I am authority in this space, and I want you to continue to follow me for more information about this. Another thing that I see is on these groups, especially like the mom group, they will say there's no self-promotion, right? They don't want you promoting your links or anything, but you're allowed to answer with your links and stuff. That's fine. You can do that. But what they do sometimes, one group I'm in, they have around the first, it's the monthly self-promotion post. So you are allowed to promote your business. Okay. Another thing that I think is more effective than just, I'm a Hugh and Grace advocate, here's my link. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to go to that link. Like, as we're scrolling, many times we don't have time to go research this link. We're not going to go back and be like, somebody posted about something and I don't know. So what I recommend that you do is find one of your helpful Instagram posts and say, I talk all about health and wellness on Instagram. I share a lot about my own health and wellness journey. Here's one of my, most clicked on posts. Okay. Now you've got them in your Instagram, and there's a good chance they're going to follow you. I do this over and over and over in this group, and I change it up. I have a lead magnet that is true crime podcasts. Okay. That has nothing to do with Hugh and Grace, but I am a multifaceted person. I love true crime. And I, in the post, say, I love true crime, and I have put together several of my favorite podcasts. If you want them, you can sign up here for this free email. So that is a lead magnet to my email, and that's my newsletter flow. So we're going to talk about that too. So in these groups, I want you to position yourself as an authority, as someone that people will go to. Another thing I see is in the fitness group, there are questions like, oh my gosh, what's your favorite protein powder? You can absolutely share your favorite protein powder, but you know what's more important or more helpful is, here's a post I did on Instagram that talked about 3 different protein powders I love and 4 recipes I used for them, if that's something that you have created. So you're, again, getting them to see you in other ways other than just like, here's my favorite protein powder. Okay, so I talked about that, and I'm just checking my notes here. Oh, okay. In the mom group, I was like, this could not have been set up better. A woman says just the other day, I've been seeing reusable paper towels everywhere. Can someone tell me about them? And I was like, here we go. Here's the chance. So there were lots of comments and lots of like different options and stuff. And so I said, like, I just recently discovered these. I've been using them. Here's why I like them. I talked about their compostability, their reusability, that they dry quickly and they don't smell. And then I had a quick video of a demo that I use for a reel. And I just showed that's all I said. And somebody was like, oh, what brand is that? And so then I told them what brand it was, and I did provide the link. I could have said, message me, but then I think that can sometimes get a little like, ooh, she's trying to be secretive and sell it, which I'm like, it's fine. Now the link is on there. She wanted to know. I gave her the link. And actually, I gave her like a referral link. So it doesn't necessarily say like Amanda. It was like the C11 customer link. So that was even better in my opinion, because again, not that I'm ashamed that I'm selling it, but people don't want to be sold to. Like, that is an overarching message I think we hear all the time. Okay, so let's talk about newsletters, because I think a lot of us can get intimidated about sending email marketing. So one thing I want to encourage you to do is reuse your content. I do this all the time. So I have a popular post that is like, here's my favorite healthy finds at Walmart. And I will repurpose that into a newsletter with literally just the pictures, and then, send that out to my network. We can grab all your emails from the Hugh and Grace your customer management. And Stacy Miller actually did a training on this, which is probably in the archive somewhere, talking about lead magnets and newsletter and email marketing. But you want to kind of like get this in a wheel of reusing. So you're going to do a post, then you're going to share that in the Facebook group, then you're going to send that out as a newsletter. Then in your newsletter, you're going to talk about your wellness group or whatever Facebook group that you are running. That's another way to get people's eyes on your content. If you struggle with words to say or captions, you need to utilize ChatGPT. I use it almost every day. I absolutely love it. If you have no idea what ChatGPT is, ask someone younger than you that's really into tech, and they will tell you all about it. And it is so valuable. This is also where I get a lot of ideas for the challenges that we run in our wellness group. So I will say, please list out 10 popular ways to challenge my friends who are into fitness and wellness. And ChatGPT will list 10 different challenges you can come up with, and then you tweak them as needed. I use ChatGPT to write newsletters. My newsletter today that just went out, ChatGPT wrote a great little Mother's Day poem, and I said, steal my Mother's Day poem. And that was my newsletter today. It had nothing to do with Hugh and Grace, and that's okay. It doesn't always have to be Hugh and Grace, because people want to connect with you, and that's my message. So there you go.
Okay, listen, I'm all in. Amanda, I'm going to be messaging you afterwards, or else my 21-year-old on how to use ChatGPT. I have no idea. Okay, this was great, and so many different things. And it's kind of what I said at the beginning. You work your business in so many different ways. And I love that about you. It's not just one thing. You spread the way you work your business across multiple things. Okay, so Aimee, I am excited to have you jump on next, and I'm going to make you a co-host. And then I'm going to spotlight you. But Aimee is newer to us, and I'm going to quit saying that eventually. Right? Like, you're not new anymore. You're here. And I've loved watching how you work your business, because you've done some really interesting things as well. Really around, again, value added, sharing information. Also someone that is super consistent. There are a few people that I jump on every night on my Instagram when I climb in bed, and I'm like, wonder what they did today. And I follow them through their day. And you're someone that does that as well. So Aimee, I'm excited to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I was just typing in the chat. I was like trying to mute at the same time. Amanda, that was fantastic. And I love all your examples, and Christian as well. Like this is definitely going to be a call that I have in like the repeat rotation for new advocates, existing advocates. This has all been such helpful information. So what I kind of wanted to wrap this call up with was a little bit more on the thinking about how to think creatively. Because a lot of times we'll kind of sell ourselves short, and we'll say, I'm not a creative thinker, or I'm not a numbers person, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. And a lot of times those things actually hinder us from doing what it is that we want to do. What we say our big goal is, I want to be a big CEO, but I hate numbers. Nah, you got to figure it out, sister. So I feel for me that creativity is a skill that can also be developed. And so what I wanted to do, and I'll use an example of something that Kelli and I did this past 2 months, as an example, as we go through these kind of step-by-step ideas, but it is definitely something that you can develop. And there's some steps that I've listed. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen really quick. And I would love for you to write these things down. I made slides just more to keep me on track than anything, but you're welcome to screenshot, but I find sometimes writing them down is a really great idea. Let me share. Present. Okay. So, and I know this is not a goal setting call. So you're like, why are you writing? Number one is get clear on your goal and purpose. And so again, I'm going to give you the example of what we've done the last 2 months. I came into Hugh and Grace to be a really big builder. I wanted to help so many people with this mission. I want to create a really great income for myself. I want to be able to change the dynamic of my family. There's a lot of things that I'm excited to do here, and those all are pretty vague. But when I think about it, I say, okay, well, what do I need to do? And so I decided, well, if I want to make X amount of income, this is the amount of sales that I need to make. We'll just keep it simple and stick to sales. Okay, well, if this is the amount of sales that I need to make in order to create that income, then what is it that I need to do? And a lot of times, all of this begins with asking ourselves better questions, right? So sometimes we think, well, I have to do exactly this. And we're used to somebody giving us a checklist, or we're used to saying, well, I've always seen people do this way. Maybe they think it's just on social media that they can do this, or just in this space that they can do this. But there are so many, unique opportunities when we ask ourselves better questions. So number one, get clear on your goal and purpose, because what is your purpose here? If mine is, obviously lots of things, but I was using the example of income. So if yours is to make an impact, and yes, you can do both of those things. That's what I like to do. But let's say you feel weird about money and you say, I just really want to impact 100 families this year. Okay, great. Now we've got a clear goal and purpose. I want to connect with 100 families this year, right? So now that we've done that, we could say, okay, well, how am I going to do that? And so sometimes your knee-jerk reaction might be, well, I have to make 5 posts every day, and because this is maybe what you've heard, And so I want to challenge you, don't pigeonhole yourself, because how about if social media went away tomorrow? How about if, there's just so many things that we need to be able to make sure that we're diversified in the way that we're doing things. So understand what you will need to accomplish those things. So for, the purpose of that income goal, I was looking at what was my goal for this month coming up in my team, Kelli Calabresis and my team. So we looked at what do we want to develop as a team, and we got really clear. Okay, we're going to need to create this many more conversations this month in order to reach that goal. Okay, so if I need to create that many more conversations, how can I do this? So this is where you get to brain dump. And this is where you're going to have to quiet like those voices that come up and say, that's so stupid. Or like, Christian was saying, you need to get in that superpower pose. Don't brain dump like, maybe this is silly. Maybe, I don't know. They might think this is stupid. What if I make a table at the craft fair and nobody shows up? You know what? Sarah Jensen yourself. I love that, Christian. I was like, it's so true. When you think about, that it's so true. But in case you haven't gotten the pleasure of meeting our co-CEO, Sarah Jensen yet, really think of the most powerful, most confident person that you know, and just, stand in that power for a minute while you start to brain dump. Check your body language when you start to brain dump. Are you, in this freaking out space, or are you standing tall and proud? Stand up and do it. Go on a walk and voice record. I get really excited when I am right after a workout. Kelli gets a lot of voice memos from me right after my workouts, because after my workouts, guess what's happening? My endorphins are going. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling powerful. I have this idea. I have this idea. I'm in a really great state. So that's when you can start to brain dump these ideas. And not all of them are going to come to fruition, right? Not all of them are going to work out, but you can start to brain dump. And there's things that I want you to think about as you brain dump, because we could say like, well, I want to impact 100 families. That means I need to have 500 conversations by the end of this year. And there's certain things, and there are times for us to push and kind of go that gritty hustle route. But is that sustainable? Is that something that brings you joy? Is that something that's going to feel like a burnout to you at some point? Because we want to take all of these things into consideration. So some of the things that I want you to map out and start thinking about is, does this make sense? Like sometimes you might have like these really wild, crazy ideas, but does it make sense? Is it a good use of your time? So, maybe you have this idea and you decide you want to do this big elaborate thing, but it's only going to reach 2 people. Is that a good use of your time? Is there a financial investment? So like Christian used the example of the $11 buy-in for the paper towel that she was gifting to the realtors. That made financial sense because the return on investment there, ROI stands for return on investment. The return on investment there is very high, and likely that, for the $11 she's spending, she could earn in the future, quite a large sum that's going to pay her back for her investment and then expand her investment, right? And then here comes that last one that I mentioned earlier. Does this bring you joy, and is it sustainable? Is it aligned with what you want to bring into this company, with what you want to do over the period of time? So the example that Kelli and I did this past couple months is, we are super into hormone health, like most everybody here, right? And there was a book that I read last year when I first started kind of on my hormone health journey, and it's The Hormone Repair Manual by Dr. Laura Brydon, Every Woman's Guide to Healthy Hormones After 40. And so Kelli and I sat down, and I've been recommending this book over and over and over to people just in conversations. And we started thinking about it, and, we had experience running big groups before, that we didn't set up in a way that felt good after a decade. So again, is it sustainable? Is it something that, you can keep breathing life into, and it breathes life back to you? So we kept thinking about, okay, well, how can we do this? How can we knew that in order for our team to grow, we needed to create community, because we needed to create something that, people, again, just like Amanda was using these examples, it's not, I'm Hugh and Grace and I am building a team and you need to join right now. And there can be a time and place for that. But there's also this sense of, hey, we're part of a movement. And this is something that when you get people who are educated, that they're interested, and now they understand the depth of, why it is what we're doing is so important, they feel compelled. This isn't us dragging them along. They feel compelled to be part of this movement. So how is it that we can create community, that we can educate community, that we can, and these were all of the things that her and I, were working on figuring out. So it can be whatever for you that makes sense for your goal and purpose, number one. But as we started doing that, then we started developing, okay, well, we could do a 6-week book club. We could invite people to join in on the book club. We can do what feels good to you. I don't love evening calls, right? I have a lot of running around to do. So we decided on half evening calls and half lunchtime calls, but we created it in a way that felt really good to us, so that it wasn't just taking from us, but every week we were looking forward to getting on these calls. We decided on 2 text messages to the group per week. And that way they got the reminder of the call and the recording of the call in case they couldn't be on live. And that felt really good to us. All of these things that we kind of mapped out ahead of time to make sure, hey, this feels great. This can be really effective for us. This could be very valuable for the people who are joining the club. And this allows us to create community around hormone health. So then number 5 is so important. Try your ideas and be okay if it flops. I can't tell you the number of ideas that I've had that have flopped. Like it's I'd say astronomical, but that's probably a little bit exaggerating, but I have had numerous ideas that I've tried and have not worked out. And that's okay, because every time one doesn't work out, it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. What can I tweak? If it was a good idea, if the bones were there, if the ideas were there, if what can I tweak? What didn't work about it? What would have worked about it? What felt good about it? What could I shift and do differently the next time? And then we move on. And the longer you sit and sulk in something that flops, the more time you're wasting, right? So that's also a skill set, is rebounding, right? And how fast can you get back up when you don't have that big, huge win? And so, be okay. It's bound to happen. I'm just prefacing it. Readjust and try again. And so that way, like, hey, I tried this. This is what I loved. This is what didn't work out, but I can move on from there. And, I've loved coming into Hugh and Grace community because there's so many people like Amanda, like Christian, Tammy Milner does her wine and fries night. Like, there are so many ideas within our company already of people who are doing things that give them joy, and people who are doing things that also bring our products to the homes of other people and to other people's lives. So even Kelli, with the podcast that you do, today's Mother's Day podcast, I think we all I had to pull myself together before this call, but even sharing that, and I know that this wasn't your intention, Kelli, but even sharing that on my stories today, I'm not telling people, hey, you have to come and join my team, but people right now are seeing that and being like, I want to be part of something like that where they're championing, how do you say that word? Championing moms. And like that in itself, like I don't even have to say anything. I just shared on I shared on my stories today. That was it. But Kelly, thank you again for that, but also for modeling out of the box thinking with that example and all of the things that you do on that podcast. They're genius. So I think those were, such great ideas today. So I hope that the skill set piece was also helpful.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think one of the things that I love the most is I think we do try sometimes, or we try something once and then it doesn't work the way we thought it was the first time. And so we let go of the idea altogether. And I think every time we should just be learning. So this was amazing. I mean, I think one of the things I love about Hugh and Grace is there are so many really, really smart, brilliant women doing things differently. And I think in today's world, things move so fast and change so fast that we have to navigate through that and work doing that in a really, really special way in a business like this. So I love that we all collaborate. We learn from each other. You're all amazing. All these ideas were fantastic. I will post this recording, and I'm also going to ask to send the recording out tomorrow through a text message. I know we already sent one out today, so we'll send it out tomorrow. But I'll get this to all of you as well so that you can share with your teams. This was fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing all the knowledge that you have, and thank you for everyone that came. Bye, everybody.